go ahead and get to our top stories this morning. New details about disgraced Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn's arrest.
Now, he was captured in a wider Bloomington police sting operation.
But I don't give a crap what occupation you have. If you come here and mess with kids, you're going to jail.
Police chief not mincing words there, and he also has revealed that Eichhorn was one of more than a dozen men arrested as part of what he called Operation I Can't Help Myself. Investigators are now accusing the resigned state senator of trying to cover his tracks, so we want to check in with our Barrett Leone, who joins us live in St. Paul with the very latest. Barrett, bring us up to speed.
Yeah, federal investigators say that former Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn lied to them about having a gun in his St. Paul apartment. On top of that, while authorities were combing through evidence there, someone showed up to the apartment complex wanting to grab a computer from inside his room. Now, that request was denied, but they found out that the pair had been communicating while Eichhorn was in custody. Now, along with this gun, investigators also found a wiped iPhone and that computer in question. They also argue Eichhorn is a danger to the community because of his clear familiarity with soliciting commercial sex from minors. A big question still looming: has he done this before? Here's Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges.
We don't have that detail right now, and I think, in terms of once the federal government took it, they're going to look at all of his phones. But the only time we caught him here was in Bloomington. But I will say that the language that he used is indicative of someone who this is not their first time.
And the governor is expected to set a special election for Eichhorn's seat sometime today. We know that at least 4 Republicans have thrown their hat in the ring, including former Minnesota GOP chairwoman Jennifer Carnahan and Josh Gazelka, who is the son of former Republican State Senator Josh Gazelka. We also know that Democratic side, Emily LeClaire, has also announced a campaign.
All right, we'll have to see how this all shakes out. Certainly a lot of names in the hat there. Our Barrett Leone reporting.
Meanwhile, 5 other people face felony charges for trying to solicit minors for sex.
Now, the East Metro Human Trafficking Task Force says they use social media platforms to talk with undercover agents posing as minors. Now, these adults have been booked into the Washington County Jail. If you or someone you know is in danger of being trafficked, you can call that task force. Their number is on your screen.
The teenager behind a deadly mass shooting at a backyard music venue in Minneapolis could spend decades behind bars. Impact statements were read in court yesterday by family and friends of August Golden. They described the 35-year-old as kind, caring, and beloved by many. Some who spoke were also victims of the shooting in August of 2023. They recall how a fun backyard concert at Nudiland, known as a safe space for the queer community, quickly turned deadly.
I cannot begin to describe the feelings of horror. I wear this violence on my body. It is devastating to know that these experiences are not unique to me.
I would like to say that I'm sorry for everything that I put everyone through. One day when I come out, I'll be better and I'll do things for the community in the name of August and not for myself.
After Dominic Burris spoke, who you just heard from, the judge sentenced him to roughly 23 years in prison. Burris was 17 years old at the time of the mass shooting, but certified as an adult in the case. He pleaded guilty in January. A troubling crime trend near the University of Minnesota has police and students on high alert.
So new this morning, police say a group of masked men struck again, this time using a gun and knife in a robbery. Now, officers say the same group hit 4 places in less than 30 minutes over the weekend in Dinkytown. Investigators say this morning they used a gray BMW SUV without plates. Ongoing crime around campus prompted a group of concerned parents to come together to address it. In a statement to WCCO, they called the crimes disheartening and disturbing, but that crimes off campus had been trending in the right direction over the past year. That is due to many initiatives that were put in place in 2024.
I think these kids deserve better. Thank you.
Well, an interesting plot twist in a heated battle over library books in St. Francis, north of the metro. The ACLU announced a new lawsuit against what it calls the illegal banning of books in the North Metro District. It includes well-known titles like The Kite Runner, The Bluest Eye, and The Handmaid's Tale. Well, last night, parents, teachers, and other supporters packed the school board meeting. They wore red shirts, which you can see here, and they read letters from authors and books calling for the bans to be reversed.
exposed unintentionally to harmful pornographic material is very important. I hope that the board will have the wisdom and courage to take this stand for our students.
If this policy isn't changed and we're shown that books should be limited, it's showing kids that it's a bad thing to read, or maybe even a bad thing to learn. That is not the message that we as kids should be getting. Thank you.
We should note the district used a third-party website to decide which books to remove based on content subjects. That website announced it's shutting down. St. Francis did not decide if its book policy would change.
Today, budding entrepreneurs will argue the state's lottery for legally selling cannabis should stay on hold. A lawsuit filed with the Court of Appeal says there were problems with the state's social equity lottery, which would have allowed certain groups licenses for growing and selling marijuana. They argue they were rejected over mistakes made by the department for petty reasons, like not listing the square footage of their store. 2/3 of the 1,800 applicants were denied. Today's hearing could help decide if the upcoming lottery will resume later this spring.